As nice as your geometry may be, it cannot tell the whole story on its own. At some point, you'll need to add labels to your drawing. Fortunately, AutoCAD supports two types of text, single line and multi-line. In this lesson, we are going to create some single line text. On my screen, I have a drawing of a mechanical part. As you can see, I've created several views of the object. I would like to label each of these views. Before I do that, take a look at the layer control. Notice I am practicing good form. I've created a layer for my text objects. To create my labels, I'm going to come up to the annotation panel and I'll click the lower half of the text icon and I'll choose single line text. Now I can just follow the command line prompts. I'll click on screen to identify the start point of a text. I can then specify the height. Normally we want our text to be large enough such that it's readable on the printed sheet. For this example, I'll go with a height of 0.25 and I'll press enter. Now I can specify the rotation angle. I can do that by entering a value or free picking a point on screen. For this exercise, I'm going to press enter and accept the default angle of 0. This will ensure that my text reads horizontally across the screen. Now I can just start typing. I'll type top view. When I'm finished, all press enter. Enter, and I've just created my first label. Let's create another. I'm going to zoom out and I'll pan the drawing up. I will then move back up and launch the single line text command. As you can see, that is now the default here in the ribbon. I'll click on screen. I will then press enter to accept the previous height and rotation angle, and I'll type front view, enter, enter. Let's create one more. I'll pan the drawing over. I'm going to press the spacebar to relaunch the text command. I'll click on screen to start, and let's make this text a little bit different. I'll use a height of 0.15 this time, and then I'll click on screen to specify the rotation angle. Then I'll type right side view, enter, enter. Let's zoom out, and I'm sure you'll agree that this label would look better if it was the same as the others. To fix this, I'll select the text object and then I'll come over to my properties palette. Mine happens to be anchored to the interface. If yours is not, you can press Ctrl 1 to bring your palette up on screen. I'll use a slider to drag down so I can see the text settings, and then I'm going to change the height of this text object to 0.25. I'll press enter and then I'll assign a rotation angle of 0. When I'm finished, I'll move away from the palette and let it collapse. One important thing to note, these text objects are just like any other entity in AutoCAD. We can move, rotate, or copy these objects. I'd like to move this label a little bit. I'll do that by clicking the grip, and I'll push this up and center it a little bit better on this view. As long as I'm at it, I'll click the front view and we will push it up a little bit farther. And I'll take the top view and I'll move this over to the right a little bit. When I'm finished, I'll press escape. Let's create one more label for this isometric view. This time I'd like the label to read parallel to this edge. I'll relaunch the text command. I'll use the endpoint of this edge as my start point. To keep the text consistent, I'll use a height of 0.25, and then the rotation angle will be defined by the other endpoint of this line. Then I'll type isometric view, enter, enter. I can wrap this, so by selecting the text object, I'll grab this grip and I'll pull the text to the other side of the object. When I'm finished, I'll press escape, and then I'll double click the wheel on my mouse to do a zoom extents. With its straightforward settings and overall ease of use, single line text is the perfect tool for adding individual labels to a drawing.